Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Hidizs XO, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank Hidizs for providing the XO for review. Do greatly appreciate it. Hidizs, you rock. Alright, so the Hidizs XO. This will set you back $100 from your bank account, and it is a USB dongle DAC amp. Now this thing is very unique. It has some interesting technology that isn't always seen, or rarely ever seen actually, in this price point. So it has a dual Sabre ES9219C DAC chip, 2 DAC chips inside it, and it has RGB LED lighting. It will do 32384 DSD 256 MQA. It has a balanced 2.5 output and a single-ended 3.5 output, 195 milliwatts on balanced and 78 milliwatts on single-ended. Has all kinds of other things that it'll do. In order to activate the MQA and all that type of stuff, you will need to use either the Hifi music app or UAPP. It also is high-res audio and MQA certified. Take off the sleeve and you're greeted with a little plastic box. It's got some branding here on the front. You got a barcode on the back, and then you have a label, at least mine does, and it says The Honest Audiophile. It's kind of hard to see there on camera. Thought that was kind of a nice touch by Hidizs. Take the lid off and you're greeted with the dongle, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment. You get a USB to USB-C adapter. You get a USB-C to USB-C cable, which is soft rubber. Does kind of have this little hook in it. Then you get some paperwork. You get your serial number. You get an invite to be a Hidizs VIP. And you get a warranty card. Let's take out the dongle. So now you get the dongle, and it's a very small and extremely light. Feels well built, and you got your RGB lighting here on the sides, and you got 2 function buttons, which are XO. I guess that explains the name. O will change your filters, and then also X will change all your RGB lights. On the top here you have a USB-C input, and then on the bottom you have your 3.5 and 2.5 outputs. Let's plug this into something and show off those RGB lights, because that's not something that you normally see on devices. So there you have your circle lit up. That will show your different type of file rate that you have playing. It'll change colors. Also, if you press it, it'll change to the different filter. Alright, so to activate your RGBs, you just hit X, and it'll start cycling through. There's 15, I believe, 15 different types of RGB. Some of them are a little more tantalizing and might be a little bit much for the eyes, especially in a darker setting. And it does it on both sides. And then you can also eventually cycle all the way through and turn them off. The only thing that is missing from it, and I think it would be kind of cool, is if they could get it so that the RGB is like activated when on the beat of the music. That would be cool. But anyways. So on the device also, they did put my name on the back. Right there it says David Sylvia on it. And then you have some other branding and stickering information. So I like the build of the XO. I think it's unique and just kind of cool looking. And you don't normally see RGB lights on a dongle. So I just thought that was a nice addition. But does that really matter? Does that make it sound better? So the XO, how does it sound? Let's first talk about the filters. Now the filters are supposed to change slightly. The top end roll-offs, the treble a little bit. And to be honest, I didn't really hear a difference. If there was a difference, it was so subtle that it didn't really make a significant difference to me. So I just left it as is, which is when you just plug it in. I didn't really mess with the filters because I didn't hear anything. All right, so does a dual deck chip make a difference sound-wise? The bass of the XO is fantastic. It has a nice punch and slam, very good girth to it, nice note weight, and good density to the overall sound. And it has an authoritative presence without being dominating, without being in your face and all about the bass. The bass has very good tone and timbre and is very well detailed and resolving. I find that the bass of the XO is phenomenal, and it will definitely keep the toes tapping and the energy high, but will not be the focal point of the music. The mids. The mids are where the focal point of the XO is. The mids is very natural. There's a slight warmth to it. And there's very good natural tone and timbre. Details are crazy good and very well resolved. Overall, I find that the mids have a pleasantness to them and a naturalism, and they sound very realistic. Everything just sounds proper and true, and it just plays along with the track and really engages you and helps you to be able to just say, that's a clarinet, that's a piano, that's a guitar, that's a flute, that's this type of drum, that's this type of cymbals, and you can just diagnose what is being played in the music in a very natural way because it's being done correctly. And then the treble. The treble is well extended, has very nice air, it's very clean and clear, crisp, has good energy and sparkle, but yet never gets too much. It reveals what's in the track, and if it's going to be a little bit intense, it's going to be intense. If it's just going to be kind of mellow, it's mellow. It does its job and does it accurately and true. Soundstage of the XO is very much a natural reproduction. It's not the most wide, and it's not the most all jaw-dropping, intensively wide, spacious type of sound. It's more of a natural reproduction. If something is a wider sounding track, it's going to sound that way. If it's a little bit more narrow or a little bit more intimate, it's going to sound like that. It does a very good job with depth and layering. Also, I find that the XO is very good with depth and layering and keeping things so that they play cohesively and just mesh together and play correctly without overpowering each other or pushing one in front of the other. It does a very good job of keeping everything sounding accurately and proper. Imaging is very good. You can follow things across the stage as they move. You can place things extremely well, and it's very precise in its placements. You can really listen to a track and go, I believe that is right there, or that's right there. And it just follows things around. So overall, I really like the XO. I think that the Hidizs XO is a fantastic sound, especially at $100. And plus it has those unique features on it that you just don't really see. How does it compare to a couple other devices? Now, if you take something that is half the price, you take the Periodic Audio Rhodium. Now the Rhodium comes in at $50. And these sound pretty close. So if you like the sound of the periodic audio Rhodium, you just wish it had more power to it, the XO. They have a very natural sound signature, very true natural tone and timbre, and very good detail retrieval and resolution, and an amazing soundstage that is very accurate. And the XO does that, and it just does it better. It's just an improvement over the periodic audio Rhodium. How's it compared to a couple of things that are related to it? The Hidizs S9 Pro. The S9 Pro is very good, and I also really do enjoy the Hidizs S9 Pro. But the XO sounds cleaner. It sounds more clear. It sounds a little bit more accurate. It has a little bit better natural crispness, and it's not quite as raw like the S9 Pro. It's not quite as elevated up top, where at times it can sound a little too much and be a little aggressive. The XO sounds more accurate and true in that regard. How's it compared to the Hifi FC4? Now, the Hifi FC4 definitely has more power and has a very close sound signature to the XO. They are very similar. The only differences are that a little bit extra bit of power that the FC4 has. Plus, the FC4 has 4.4 balanced output. But overall, they are very, very similar in sound. FC4 may be just a little bit warmer. And then stepping up in price, going to the DAC 3 from Audio Engine. The DAC 3 is going to be a little bit more detailed, a little bit better resolving, has definitely more power on single-ended, does not have balanced output, and the DAC 3 will be a little bit more body and note weight and a little bit warmer and lusher sound, but is a phenomenal sound as well. And I find that it has a little bit more of the analog leaning, whereas the XO is more of the analytical leaning. So, do I recommend the Hidizs XO? Absolutely. This thing is phenomenal, has won my heart over, whether it be the case with my name on it, or my name being on the back of the XO, or if it is the look of it, the RGB lights. But truthfully, the sound has just won me over, and I truly love it. And for $100, this thing is awesome, and it may be just what you need, because it powers all the IEMs. It powers everything from the easiest to drives to the planar IEMs. Headphone wise, it'll power things pretty much if they're easy to drive. If you start getting into harder to drive headphones and planar headphones, it'll struggle some. But for things like the Rode NTH100, Austrian Audio X60s, things like that, it'll power them very easily. So, the Hidizs XO, yeah, I like this thing a lot. It has truly won my heart over, and it's become a favorite of mine. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video if you have to. And then also, don't forget to check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel. All that kind of stuff is down below, along with gear recommendations, music that was used during the review, and also links to my tier list and rankings grades, and all kinds of other things are down below. So check out those links, and don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.